Hello, everybody in YouTube land. We are live, and hello to everybody listening on SoundCloud or whatever platform you're listening on. I hope some of you are listening on an oil rig platform, even though oil will be phased out shortly because of climate breakdown, and we can't afford to do fossil fuels. But I'll never forget, and I'll never forget my mom telling me, Eddie, you have blue eyes like Paul Newman. And we were just talking about how the camera doesn't do anything for anybody, you know, and I don't like looking at myself, you know, on the monitor here, but I do like looking at my eyes in the mirror, you know, and I remember that my mom saying, you have blue eyes like Paul Newman, you know.
That's a supportive, loving thing that you know.
Yeah, it was. And when I got threatened, that was when I was a young kid, you know, and my eyes have only gotten bluer, and they're beautiful. But it's too bad we're in a crumbling society, crumbling society, because I you know, these eyes have seen so much now. You know, doctor, my eyes have seen so much, but some doctor wanted to do LASIK surgery on me.
Why?
Well, because I need glasses, you know. To see far away.
Oh, so you didn't need the glasses. If you get the LASIK surgery, you don't need the glasses, right?
Right. You're on the cutting edge of technology. And I said to him, do you want to fuck with these eyes?
That sounds like
I said, do you want to fuck with these beautiful peepers? You know?
What did he say?
He said, you're right. He said it wouldn't affect the color. I said, if it did...
My mother would be very disappointed.
Yeah. Yes. So, you know, anyway, how are you this week, Steve? I'm here with Steve Lolli.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Burbank, and I'm great, actually.
Burbank of the mind.
Yeah, the Burbank.
You're great. Good.
I'm doing all right. Yeah. I have my moments, my low moments, but
we all do.
Yeah.
We all do. We talked about it last week.
I was
faith
in a depressive state. Because we missed a podcast, as you probably know.
Well, we needed to take a week off.
It's good because the podcast after a week off is usually really good, right? Because we haven't talked, so we have a lot to say.
That's yet to be determined.
Okay. So I was in a depressive state on Saturday, and I had a butterfly fly into Whole Foods and land on me, which I showed you the pictures of. The butterfly.
So many good things happen at Whole Foods. But go ahead. So a butterfly landed on
me. On my chest right here.
You showed me the picture.
Yeah, I showed you the pictures, and it stayed on me for 2 hours.
I felt like you just wanted to show me your chest. That's what I felt like.
Really?
That's what I felt like. I felt like you said, oh, look at this butterfly, because you didn't have a shirt on. And I was like, what the fuck is Steve sending me a picture of his bare chest?
That's a homophobic, and
is it?
And you have memory loss because I didn't have a bare chest.
Oh, I'm thinking of another fan of mine
with butterfly, the butterfly tattoo.
No, go ahead about the
butterfly.
Yeah, I'm making a joke.
Yeah. He's making levity.
Sue me that I'm making a joke.
Levity out of my elevated story.
No, this is a good story. Go ahead. I like this. This is a sweet story.
It flew right into Whole Foods. It landed right on me, and it stayed on me in that same spot while I shopped and ate. And finally, I pulled out my phone and I took a couple pictures of the butterfly, just chilling on my, on my sweater. I guess eating my sweater. And
maybe that's what it was doing. You know what I was thinking that was funny is that maybe it was a CIA drone. We were talking about
drones. Been a drone.
We were talking about drones before the podcast.
And I'm like saying to the butterfly, "I love you. Thank you for land." I mean, I'm like spouting love, and so the deep state was listening to like pouring out of love.
Could have been. Well, if you were giving love out, they go, "He's not a threat, Bob. He's a fucking one of these hippie kids." I still see CIA guys in a truck, or wherever they're listening, with their devices. CIA, FBI, who else?
Fuck, it might have been a drone. That just ruins it. Oh, that's
I'm sure it wasn't.
I don't know, man.
You think it might have been a drone?
I have the inception now. I'm actually
I don't think it was a drone because what was it filming? Drones film things. If it's a drone, you get. By the way, if you get a chance, get a drone, and
go crazy.
Get a drone and go crazy, because drones are out of this world good. You know, I'm Bob Fredericks for drones. Hey, you're looking for something to fly overhead that you can monitor with your computer? Are you looking for something that really can see great distances and terrorize people? By the way, I find drones scary.
Not from that ad you didn't. I mean, that ad
No,
I was ready to buy a drone just now because of you. I mean,
hey,
are they affordable?
you need to put something. They are.
Can I put a payment
they
down
are
on a
affordable.
drone?
They're very affordable.
Can I make like 4 easy payments?
You need a drone. You have credit problems. No problem. Here at Bob Fredericks Drone Haven, we're open 24 hours. So if you wake up in the middle of the night with a hankering to see overhead, you wake up in the middle of the night with a hankering to see overhead.
Hankering.
A hankering to see overhead.
It's when you pull out those old-fashioned terms, Eddie. It just someone's gonna buy that drone.
By the way, I just want to do a movie recommendation. I was in between things yesterday, and I had actual time to see a movie. I saw a movie called Midsummer. That was nuts. It's by the filmmaker.
Wait a minute, it's a horror.
It is a horror, but it's more than horror.
I want to see that, man.
It takes place in Sweden, ostensibly, and I think it does. But it's got it's kind of gorgeous nature shots, and then there's horror stuff. It was just
Is it good?
It is really good. It's like an out of the. What's good about it is it's so creative. Like when you watch it, you go, oh. This is what it's like to be creative.
Right.
This is
what film used to be.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Like that's inspired. Like art, and I'm sure people get this when they listen to this podcast. Art is what inspires you. You know what I mean? And when I started talking about my blue eye, Paul Newman blue eyes, I'm sure people all around the world
Having
were
flashes of HUD. Which was in black.
Flashes of HUD.
Which was
by
in
the way,
black
that was a
and white,
Paul Newman movie. But art, when you watch a good piece of art, it's like, oh, it inspires you to do art. It just does. And when I watch the movie, I go, this guy is such an original. And that doesn't happen a lot when you see somebody. You're like, he's an original or she's an original.
If it makes you feel something kind of you didn't expect to, Like
Yeah.
I watched Gods and Monsters. Did you ever see that? It was
Yes.
about 20 years ago.
Yeah, I saw
But I
it.
hadn't seen it since then. And it's just a movie about friendship. But it's beautiful. It's actually a beautiful movie.
Is that with Brendan
Yeah,
Fraser?
yeah.
And Ian McKellen?
Yeah.
Ian McKellen is so damn
Man,
good.
He's so good.
He's fucking good, and he's still going, and we got to get him on one day. We don't have many guests. We're going to have James Adomian July 24th. I'm very excited about that. Me and Steve are going to film our first
next
episode
week.
of a new web series we want you to look out for. It's going to be called Comedians
Without Cars.
Getting Soda.
Yep.
Okay, so so I just wanted to interject that about the movie because I don't get to see a lot of movies in the theater, and I saw it at the ArcLight here in Hollywood. It's a big screen.
It's still there? It's there now?
Comfortable seat. It costs $16 fucking though on a
It's
Wednesday.
assigned seating, right? It's like an assigned seating kind of. That's creepy. That's always eerie to me in a movie. I don't like, being shown to my seat.
I'm used to it now, and
But it was good.
no, the movie was great, and I had a nice little Diet Coke next to me, and except someone sat next to me. It was like the showing was 7:00, and when some person sits next to
Were
you,
they kicking?
No, the kicking thing really pisses me off. Matter of fact, on the plane too, if I feel people kicking me, I just go, "Don't, Eddie." I have to talk to myself. You don't want to get into a fight. The federal authorities will be involved. They may divert the plane. You hear people getting fights in fucking.
How do you? But you got to say something
because they crowbar
But you have
people
to
into
say
planes.
you have to say something to the person kicking you, right? So what do you do? Because this is good information.
No, on the
You
plane
might
I don't
help-
say anything because a lot of times it's kids.
And they're just gonna stop anyway.
They don't ever stop. They're children who, and their parents are like, I can't tell Tommy what to do.
That's
It'll
when-
fuck him up.
That's when you need a piece of Xanax. Can we do a Xanax ad? Maybe it's time for a Xanax.
Hello. Oh, you do it. You do the Xanax ad.
Hi, my name is Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. We
Can't open the pod doors.
I'm sorry, Dave. I love Hal,
My
by the way.
body
Hal the
is
computer
paralyzed.
from 2001 Space Odyssey. I'm sorry, Dave. I can't let you in.
I took a piece of a Xanax, Dave. And
He sounded like he was.
When he
So
was-
Xanax, you were talking about Xanax before with our illustrious producer, Emma. Emma, you want to get on the mic for a second? Because I've heard that people who take Xanax on planes, because Emma was saying Xanax is good for plane rides. And I know a lot of people do it, you know.
I've done it.
But I've heard there's. Are you on the mic? I don't know what's going on over there.
Go on, Eddie.
But now I have heard that there are people who get into this zombie state on
Now
it.
I'm here.
Hey, Emma, have
yeah.
you heard that people get into this zombie state where they're walking around a plane being weird?
No,
On
that to me,
Xanax?
that to me sounds like you took too much Xanax.
No, if you took Xanax, you wouldn't
Are
be
they,
able
are
to
they
walk
mixing
around.
it with alcohol, you think?
That's the thing about Xanax that I don't think a lot of people realize. Xanax and alcohol do not mix. I think
And
it
people
does
do
something
it.
it does something to your liver and your liver's ability to process alcohol when you take it. Like if you
shit.
take a Xanax and then have
You get
like
really
if I had,
drunk,
Yeah,
really
if I had a
fucked up?
Xanax and one cocktail, I'd probably black out.
Ooh, you see,
Well,
that's dangerous.
yeah.
Yeah. So, and I
what
think a
about
lot of
Xan-
people do that on planes. They drink on a plane, especially if they're nervous flyers. But if you take a Xanax, you shouldn't drink.
What about Xanax and Red Bull?
I have no idea, but I feel like that wouldn't be good because they counteract each other. So you're
That's
like
right.
hyping yourself up while pushing
That's like
yourself
a
down.
poor man's speedball.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what a speedball is?
Yeah,
Cocaine and heroin?
But
Now,
if you
why
can't
do people
afford
like that? Why do people
Well,
like
I can
that?
tell you
don't
why
know.
I like it, Eddie. I don't know what other people.
I'll tell you why
I've never tried.
I'll tell you.
for other people.
I'll tell you why I like a speedball. It's good for me and the family.
How did the
I'll
Irish
tell
get
you.
involved?
I don't know
in
why
this?
it's Irish. That's the character that came. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I like speedballs. Is because in these tough economic times, you want to forget about every motherfucking thing.
It's taken with Liam Neeson.
But we were talking
No,
about.
you take a piece of a Xanax,
Yeah.
and you can sleep sitting up. I mean, you know
Pretty
when you
much.
try to sleep on a plane and you're going and you're
Yeah,
waking up.
yeah.
When you take a little tiny piece of a Xanax, if you're not an addict and you
Right.
don't do this often, you take a fucking piece of a Xanax and you'll sleep sitting in the position you fell
Right.
you're sitting in and wake up when your plane arrives and you're refreshed and you feel good.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, I went camping this weekend and we only went for one night, so we didn't bring an air mattress or anything. We just had a tent and some blankets, and I took a
That's a good
Xanax and
time.
I slept straight on the ground just fine.
Did you wake up feeling refreshed?
I wouldn't say refreshed,
I wouldn't say refreshed.
But not in pain.
but that's partially because I went to bed at 3 a.m. and woke up at 10.
Well,
Well, I guess that's a pretty decent amount of sleep, but
you went to bed at 3 and woke up at 10.
that's still 7 hours.
No, that's about what I get. 6 hours.
Yeah, that's
I get
my
about
usual.
6 hours a night. What do you get? I should be
Less
getting
than
8,
that,
9.
probably.
I should be getting at least
Well,
9.
yeah, considering you don't have a 9-to-5 job, you
Yeah.
should be getting
Well,
12.
no, I should. Yeah, that's true. No, I'm getting more than 6 hours. That's very true.
I usually get like 5 to 6 hours. That's my usual. That's
Really?
because I can't convince myself to go to bed before 2 or 3 a.m. most nights. So
I wake up with horrible thoughts. That's what happens to me.
So Xanax might be that's a bad thing to put in your head.
No. I look. I know all about. Like my thing was Klonopin, and like I have anti-anxiety shit for
You know
panic
what-
attacks.
You know
so-
what can help?
that's what Xanax is for.
Right. I've had a Xanax or two. I don't
I used to
remember.
have Ativan. That's what they used to give me
Yeah.
for my panic attacks. and
That's what I have now.
See, I didn't like the Ativan because it worked. It would take me out of my panic attack, but I would, when
Right.
it wore off, all that panic would come back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I
Whoa.
would start crying uncontrollably,
Well,
and like it
Emma-
all came back. So I was like, this isn't doing what I need it to do. So they switched me to Xanax, and that doesn't happen anymore.
It doesn't.
Huh.
How often do you take Xanax?
Not very often. It's funny. I just switched health insurances.
Yeah.
So I had to go for a checkup, and my new doctor was looking at the prescriptions that I have, and he was like, "Oh, so I see you have a prescription for Xanax. How often do you take that? Like once every 8 hours?" And I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "Do people do that?"
Well, I
Fuck
can't
them,
believe some
man.
of these people. I mean, the pill pushers, right?
It's crazy. Also, I don't know how you function when you take that much Xanax.
Well, some people, though, seriously
Build up a tolerance.
Well,
Yeah.
no, but you do, but some people too. They're such wrecks.
I think some people might just be like vibrating at that frequency that they need to be brought down more often. I usually only take it if I'm feeling if I've had a really busy, particularly anxious week. I'll take one on like Friday night so I can get a good night's sleep and like refresh myself. Or if I have a panic attack, I'll take one, but not very often.
I didn't know you had panic
Well,
attacks.
yeah, we've had these conversations
We
about
have?
panic attacks, and Emma's never. You should have been part of this.
I haven't
'Cause-
had one in a while. I think I had them a lot in college.
Oh, okay. You haven't had them. How long?
I woke up a couple weeks ago, like in the middle of a panic attack, which was really weird. That's never happened to me. Like I was asleep and then I woke up kind of panicking, and that was bizarre.
had that.
But
I've had that.
I didn't take. I try not to take stuff for that as often as possible. I like to try to like work through it myself.
You're right.
And
right.
so I kind of just breathe. I also have these all natural like lavender extract pastille things that I will
Ooh,
take.
lavender is
It has lavender in it,
helps
and
you.
I'll
My
take,
wife is recommending lavender to me all the time.
Yeah, I'll show you them. They're in my backpack. I take them everywhere with me. But they're kind of like a baby natural Xanax that I'll try that first. And if that doesn't bring me back down, then I'll take a Xanax. But I haven't had a true, honest to God panic attack in almost a year, I think.
Oh,
Which is the
good.
longest it's been in a long time. I used to have them all the time in college, and they tried to put me on
Wow.
all kinds of drugs, and I
Oh.
hated. I went to
They're
the
so
doctor.
fucked up.
Yeah, I went to the doctor once in college after I had a couple of them, and she made me take that test where you're like, how often do you not want to get out of bed? How often do you feel hopeless? And like
Right.
you
How often do I feel hopeless? How about every fucking waking second?
Exactly. But she was like, you're clinically depressed. Here are 3 drugs I want you to
Oh,
start
yeah.
taking. And I was like, whoa, I don't want to take that many. I don't want to do that. And she was like, what do you mean? I was like, yeah, there are natural options, therapy. Is there other
Right.
stuff I can try first?
That's unbelievable. That
And she, like, the doctor looked like I was speaking gibberish to her. She was like, what do you mean you don't want the medication? And I was like, no, I don't want to start there. Like, I'll take it if I can't figure it out on my
Unbelievable.
own. And she was blown away. And I was like, you're useless. And I left.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
I didn't, and it was hard, but I used a bunch of herbal extracts and like herbal pills and stuff. And I got it all under control without taking it.
It's just amazing to me that medical professionals are like, here, take a pill, and
They get kickbacks.
probably
swear.
right.
I've had panic attacks, not like you guys, but
Well-
I put my head over a pot of steam, boiling water, and I just breathe the steam with a towel over my head. And usually that will, after about 15 minutes of that, I'm fine.
And
The
usually-
deep breathing in and out.
But the thing is, when you
Yeah.
have panic attacks, you don't always have access to a pot of steam.
right. If I'm at home and I, can do
Right.
that.
I have a laundry list of little tips and tricks that I try and that I
Ooh, really?
teach people. Yeah. I have a bunch of like breathing techniques and mental tricks. I remember one therapist I talked to in college was like, if you feel yourself going down the road of a panic attack, she was like, one of the best things you can do for yourself is distract yourself. So eat a snack. That can help because you're focused on eating, and your and your brain has to focus on like
That
chewing
shit
and
never
swallowing.
works for me.
That didn't work well for me, but I do know some people it works for it. The other one was she was like, tell yourself how to get home. Like, she was like, think about your apartment, or think about you're in class, you get out of class, and tell yourself how to get home. So it's like, you go out onto Boylston Street, you take a left.
You know,
walk
I
down to-
understand what they're trying to do, but what my brain does is do this, and this is an example of someone who really has a problem with panic. I go, this brain exercise is bullshit.
Yeah, that's what I do.
I go down Boylston. Fuck that. You're not going to trick me into going away, motherfucker. Like my panic attack. You know what I figured my panic attacks are? It is self-hatred. That's kind of what a panic attack is for me. It's self-hatred out of control. And it's like an attacking voice,
Your demon
voice.
gets through the fucking the veil.
Can you usually
You're-
pinpoint like what triggered the panic attack, even if it's after the fact?
No, I think panic attacks are usually, and this is something else I came up with, after having them for years. Our panic attacks are usually an accumulation of things.
Yeah.
And it's usually also ignoring something important. And you've ignored it for a while. You know what I mean? Like suppressing, telling someone something that you need to tell them, ignoring bills. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I find that when I look back on when I used to have them more often, I didn't see it at the time, but I can look at it now and be like, that's what was making me so anxious all the time.
Does it ring true what I'm saying about accumulation
Yeah,
of
absolutely.
stress?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and one way I combat it now, like I have a couple of things in my toolbox, not to brag, I have a toolbox, but I exercise.
Is a lifesaver.
Yeah.
It really is. I actually noticed, it's funny because I noticed I was running a lot because I'm running a couple half marathons this fall. And I got so busy in the month of June that I didn't really run. I didn't really go to the gym at all. And I could feel my mental state get slightly darker without it.
Yes. Yes. And also I realized that when I don't do stand-up for about 4 nights, I get a little squirrely and weird as well. So for me, stand-up has been such a cathartic thing that roots me, that makes me feel, like I get out.
Definitely.
Yeah.
For sure, man.
I feel like my life has some kind of meaning.
It's like your meditation almost.
I feel like my life has some kind of meaning, and that is an important thing. A lot of people who become addicts and drug addicts, alcoholics, they just don't feel tethered to anything. They don't feel, like they're part of something. And it's actually, Emil Durkheim, I was reading Chris Hedges, I forget, what's the term? It's not ennui, anomie. It's called anomie, and it's a term and a lot of people have been fucking abandoned by the corporate state. A lot of people have been abandoned. Like our communities have been devastated, whether it's a corporation that used to supply the community with jobs and they're like, fuck it, I'm moving to, Mexico, Sri Lanka, to China, to do business there because we can pay the workers $1 an hour.
Right, yeah.
They have no health benefits, and fuck the community here, let's say Michigan, whatever.
Right.
And so these people, they're left like no
infrastructure.
Well, there's no infrastructure. Also, the constant cutting of mental health programs. Let's start another war. The people who come back from wars, with PTSD, just like, mental health is something that just is not talked about enough. I guess it is more.
We also don't know very much about the brain. Like
Hey, speak for yourself, Erdbrink.
I mean, I don't know much about my own brain, but just like the way the brain works, there's so much that's been unresearched.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like to me, it's more about the heart, compassion, being part of a loving family. So many people
as a society falls apart, the panic attack, the mental illness becomes more pronounced.
That makes a lot of sense actually, because I had a lot of panic attacks in my college years, and that's like you have a community, but it's coming to an end at some point. Because you're going to graduate and you're all going to go somewhere and do something or whatever.
Oh, most of your panic attacks were in your senior year?
No, they were just kind of all throughout college, but I did have a lot my senior year. I also went through an awful breakup my senior year of college.
That's always a panic attacky thing. A breakup, your whole fucking life.
It flips everything upside down.
Right. You feel like you're standing in quicksand.
Right, especially if you get dumped. It's like this person you wanted to want you doesn't want you anymore.
That's why I do the dumping. Because I'm not going to have that happen to me anymore.
I've been on both sides of it, and I had panic attacks equally.
It's horrible. It's fucking horrible. Before I met my wife, I remember I was dumped, and I just remember I would have breakdowns while driving here in LA, like pull to the side of the road and just cry. And by the way, crying in your car is
very
a lost,
therapeutic.
Well, crying in your car is a lost art now.
Well, what if you
know
don't
a lot of people don't know how to cry.
What if you don't have a car? You have to cry under the freeway.
No, I'm talking about, first let me just talk about crying in a car.
I like crying in my car. I mean, I
like
don't
crying
like
in my
it, but
car
you're right,
too.
it's kind of cathartic.
I have a Honda.
It's private.
Well, and it's a lost art.
Unless you're an Uber driver.
I have a Honda too. I have a Honda too. I cry in my Honda.
Well, I have a Honda Element, and the reason why I like to cry in my Honda Element is because there's room to weep. You know, it's spacious, and there's just room to weep, you know. And, you know, I think the commercial should go like that. Have you made a couple of wrong turns in your life? Are you in a dead-end job, and the corporate state doesn't care? Well, in the Honda Element, there's room to weep. You know what I mean? Like those.
Yeah. There's room for a whole
Speaking
family.
of commercials, we have a couple of commercials.
Here it comes.
We have a couple of fan mails. We have some calls. We have some commercials. So you're in for a treat, everybody. And fuck the people right now. And I hear them in my head saying, "Oh, this isn't funny. They're talking about men." Go fuck yourselves.
It's pretty funny.
Commercials. This one is Hometown Bound. It's a new sponsor. Hometown Bound is a new podcast for dogs who are forced to watch The Bachelorette. Some say forcing an animal to watch reality TV is like making a child watch a train wreck. They can't possibly process the horrors they are witnessing, but shame is best when it's shared. Hometown Bound gives dogs the behind-the-scenes information they care about, like which bachelor is most likely to have snacks, what Jed Wyatt's crotch smells like, and who's a good boy. Dogs love to know who's a good boy. Dogs really do want to know who's a good boy. And male dogs are usually like, I'm a good boy, I'm a good boy. And sometimes they're right. Don't let your dog miss out on the display of obscene bacchanalian madness that makes a mockery of marriage while parading as wholesome family television fed through the funhouse mirror of softcore eroticism. It's what every dog craves. So if you like forcing your dog to watch The Bachelorette, you are probably batshit crazy enough to make them sit through a podcast that is loosely tied in thematically and consists of equal parts barking and sounds just outside the range of human hearing. Hometown Bound on Stitcher Premium. That's a great idea.
It really is.
Well, it's just a great idea, you know, because I know I have a lot of friends who force their dogs into watching The Bachelor. Is it Bachelor or Bachelorette?
Either one, really.
Bachelorette or
Right.
Bachelor. Which Bachelor?
Speaking of The Bachelorette or
Whatever.
who was the last person you dumped? Can you?
The name?
No,
I wouldn't
just
want to
just
say
the
the name.
experience. You know, how was it?
Let's see. I want to see if I did dump anyone. It was like Emma said, it's just awful, you know, because you feel like a piece of shit
Yeah.
when you're doing the dumping.
Especially if you've been dumped before and you know what that felt like and you know what you're doing to the other person.
Right. And also when you get dumped, you can really get into the victim mentality, like, oh, I was wronged, you know, how could this person... I used to just pull over to the side of the road and weep and just pound my steering wheel, you know? Oh, no, that was just a drive-through. That was a drive-through. I'm thinking of a different thing.
Oh, wait, that was this morning.
How about you? Did you dump anybody and remember it? Or?
I told the closest thing. I don't think I've dumped, but it's so long ago. But I did tell a woman who came over to my place to sleep with me that she had to leave. I had to send her home.
After sleeping with her?
No, before.
Why'd you have to send her home?
Before?
Something was wrong with her.
Ah.
And I
Oh.
could tell something was like, you know, like I could get killed in my...
Was it a limp? Did she limp? Like what?
She was...
Like you
she
felt
was-
unsafe?
Oh, you felt unsafe?
Isn't that's very unmasculine, but yeah.
No,
No,
that's
I
totally
felt like-
fucking...
I think that's
felt
incredibly
like
self-aware.
She could kill me. She might murder me.
yeah.
So I
Yeah.
said, I've never done this before to a woman.
You said that?
Yeah. I said I've never
What was the
wanted a
reaction
woman
to go for your throat with
she
piano wire?
She tried to talk me out of it. She tried to
That's
talk me
what
out
the
of it.
murderers do.
Right.
They're like, hey, I'm sorry.
What are
that
you
I
afraid
asked
of?
where
That's what
your
she
knives
asked.
are.
She said, what are you afraid of? She kept asking me, what are you afraid of?
And you wouldn't say
yeah,
that
I
you
said,
would
I
kill me?
think I'm afraid of you.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
And what'd she say to that?
And she said, that's just because you're high. And I go, I
Oh,
know.
were
I'm
you high?
I was high.
Oh, you
and
see,
I don't
that
usually get
colors
high.
it.
But still, something was
Ah.
telling me something was telling me, send her home. Best.
You might have
best
had a
thing.
bout of
I had a panic
paranoia.
for sure. I didn't get
High
to sleep. I
paranoia.
couldn't sleep after that.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, but high or not, I mean, if you felt unsafe, you felt unsafe.
That's true.
I
Gotta
still
eradicate it.
I still feel like I made the right decision.
Yeah.
Just telling her to go, and then
Yeah,
I'd
you
get
know.
calls and texts from her like incessantly after that. And I realized I should do that to every woman I'm attracted to, and they would.
Get out! Just get out! Like that one you had a crush on for a long time.
Oh my gosh!
Like-
if I would have just rejected her,
Yeah.
and ignored her, I would.
Like you just like she hardly talked to you, but every time you talked to her, you would it would be funny if you had said, "Hey, listen, this is nice, but please don't approach me again."
Yeah, I can't see you. I can't see you anymore. It's not healthy.
Oh, I'll tell you, yeah, being in relationships are scary, man. Other people are scary. Sartre, the philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre, and he was famous for a book,
No Exit.
No Exit. Terrific. By the way, it's also a theater piece.
And it's
No
a
Exit.
level of hell, basically.
By the way, if you get a chance to see No Exit or you want some summer reading, read No Exit by Jean-Paul Sartre or The Stranger by Camus. It's existential philosophy at its best.
Perfect for July
There's just,
on the beach.
we live in a crumbling world, climate change. I was talking to Steven before the podcast about the fact that, all these migrants from Central America are fleeing drought. Nobody talks about
No,
that.
I hadn't even heard
They're
that.
fleeing drought because they can't farm. 5 years running the drought is in Central America. How did I get onto that? What was the?
It's okay, man. Keep going because it's good.
It's okay, man. If you need to talk about drought, go ahead. That's what my
Drought gets the ratings.
I just see a hippie therapist like, it's okay, man. If you need to talk about drought, you do it, man. By the way, keep kicking the hacky sack. That's a hippie therapist. Keep kicking the hacky sack while you're talking about drought. I forget what the connection was because I wanted to.
It was
connect.
relationships. You went from relationships to drought.
Oh, that people are horrible and No Exit.
No Exit, right.
No Exit. Jean-Paul Sartre's No Exit. If you get a chance, see that.
You mean read it?
Read it, see it. There's a theater. It's also a play.
I rehearsed. I actually was cast in No Exit.
Were you?
Yeah.
Well, I could
in,
see that.
in college.
I was the
cast
exit.
at
I was the exit.
You were the
I
exit?
was the exit. It was a horrible part. because
Yeah,
the name
you
of
should
the-
have been. You were miscast,
I should have been no.
or one of the pieces of bad furniture. You know how the furniture is all badly placed and no exit. That's like part of the level of hell. They can't
Yeah.
get comfortable. Nobody can get comfortable in the room.
Or
That's
The
one of
Trial by Kafka's another good summer fare. Wouldn't it be funny if people like loaded their kids into the car and drove to see The Trial by Kafka in like Nantucket and Cape Cod, like really nice vacation
And they
places?
put on the audiobook Dostoevsky Notes from the Underground. On the
Yeah,
way
right.
there.
They're
Right.
listening to they're listening to Crime and Punishment on audiobook driving to No Exit. That's the kind of family I like, you know. And then they discuss it like at dinner. They discuss it quietly, like, you know, pass the soy steak. What did you think of No Exit? I liked it, Daddy. What'd you like about it, sweetheart? I liked the fact that nobody could get out.
What if they lock their kids in the car and had the conversation in the car?
So you want to read a fan mail? You wanted to
Yeah.
read a fan mail.
Yeah,
we have
yeah.
a fan mail. We have some calls, but let's Stevie read a fan mail.
Okay, this is
I'll
from-
read one after you.
This is from Laurel Palmer, and it was sent to us a while ago. And Laurel, sorry for just now getting around to reading your email. We're getting a lot of calls and emails, by the way. A lot of
not
calls
really,
and emails. So
not really, but we're trying to spin it.
We're behind on replying. This is from Laurel. I just listened to your podcast on my long drive to work, and I was laughing out loud. You guys make my commute fly by. I love you guys so much. Well, we love you too, Laurel. She said, by the way, someone on your show called in about an outdoor telephone. Remember that, Eddie?
Oh, yeah.
He found. It reminded me of something I routinely saw as a child when we drove through Amish communities. I don't know whether it's still a custom, but 40 years ago it was a custom in some Amish communities to keep those telephones outside and away from the house. I saw little wood booths or boxes near the roadway in front of the farmhouses. My mom told me that the booths contained their telephones because they didn't want their phones inside the homes. As a child, I didn't understand the purpose, but as an adult, I can kind of see the appeal.
Yeah. Is that it?
That's it.
Yeah, I just see an Amish family. I just see the father in an Amish family. Don't you put the phone here! I don't know why I'm doing that.
He sounds
Don't you put the phone in the house! The Amish must be going nuts with portable, like kid app, the portable phones. I couldn't think of the name for a fucking cell phone.
Yeah.
With the cell phone. Like, don't you... Hey! Who has a phone in here? Like who has a phone? Father, I just want to use the app.
I just want to be connected, Father.
I want to use the app Hotels Tonight. What are you talking about?
I want to order a shirt.
We make our own clothes, you fucking idiot. I just want to have a shirt.
I saw it in Pepitone.
By the way, I just want to say this. I'm a fucking idiot. I ordered 4 shirts and they were pop-up ads on Instagram. Let me tell you this. I'm a bigger guy. I ordered double XLs. They were like napkins or bibs that I used. Now, they were so small. At first, I threatened them. I emailed them and I said, I reported you to the FBI. Your ass is mine. I was saying shit like that. And they mailed me a couple of more really small things. Like, they were like shirts for toddlers.
I was in the car with Eddie when he was ordering these shirts. He dropped important business. He paused. He put on hold important.
I missed out on a Robert De Niro film.
What's happening?
I could have been in Midsummer. That movie.
To order these shirts off Instagram. By the way, if you're ordering shirts off Instagram, don't do it.
It's a fucking scam. I can't believe that I fell for that. Anyway, here's one from, it's let's see, it's from Lucas. Okay, here it is, and this was June 27th. This episode, and he said it's titled "Equitable Sponsor." So I think Lucas was taking a pass at the fake ads that Matt Rasamoto writes, and that last ad, by the way, the About Dog podcast was written by Matt Rasamoto, who writes our ads, but they're real ads, and our sponsors haven't paid us. I like sending that mixed signal to people, and they're like, what the fuck? They're real ads or not real? But if people think these ads are real, there is something dreadfully wrong, right?
I think it's great. The confusion amuses me.
Anyway, so he's taking a pass. It goes, this episode is brought to you by Equitable, the parent umbrella corporation of every generic brand you see of anything you used to buy, but now can't afford, like hygiene. So buy Equitable products. In particular, this episode is sponsored by new Equitable flushable wipes. People rave that they are top shelf where you can't find them, and that if only they were made of hemp or at least had that nice cucumber scent that reminds me of the cuke slices for my eyes at the spa or the pickle spear for the crack of They Still Do That. I don't know what that means. But get this, we do. Now announcing ecologically conscious hemp wipies in melon, cucumber, radish, or avocado flavors. And to think it's all thanks to the trash from the Chinese government secretly growing hemp for fuel. As soon as hemp replaces oil for the reserve currency, you can count on Equitable to continue to provide the standard of lifestyle you once deserved with all your favorite products you love, just a little watered down. Equitable. And then it says, sorry for drunk dialing you. Great show yesterday. On the mustard seed theme, remember?
Mustard seed of faith,
right,
that you have.
That was about faith, and that's just a biblical parable. Jesus said, all you need is a mustard seed of faith. Just a tiny... You ever have a mustard seed?
No.
You got to try them. They're full of faith. On the mustard seed thing, that was very wise of you to say. I believe the Bible has powerful allegory for anyone, even atheists, to appreciate. Funny thing, when I was a kid, I swear I was told a mustard seed is even smaller than it is, like a fleck of powder, and until years later, thought they were like grains of salt or whatever in size. Could have just been how I heard it, but I don't think the person who told me about it knew anything about mustard. You, sir, obviously do. Thanks, Lucas. And thank you, Lucas, for that email. And yes, I'm very, you know what I do is I keep up on mustard. You know, podcasts are so niche. Like, we're all over the place, which is why we don't have a good following. But podcasts are so niche. That's when they really get, like, you know, Tripoli Sam does conspiracy theories, and people love that shit. There's people who do fast food reviews.
It's like a la carte. You can go get your need met.
But there's a mustard podcast that I've been listening to. It's just all about mustard.
What can you
terrific.
Give us any
It's
highlights?
called Mustard, 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 and it's just terrific.
Give us some highlights.
Well, they were recently talking about horseradish mustard and what part horseradish mustard played this 4th of July in certain deaths. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. But I think it's a funny idea that there would just be a podcast dedicated to mustard in there.
You know what? If we did that, if we transformed if we just did mayo, vegan mayo, if we just did a vegan mayo hour every week, we'd probably have 20 or 30,000 followers. Probably 20, and the donate button would be going berserk.
You think so?
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm looking for another email. If there's one, a lot of email, a couple of emails. People, you know, just bitch about shit, which, you know, is bullshit. But there might be an earthquake. You know,
we had earthquakes.
This is like a friend, also a fan of the podcast. There might be a big earthquake, but on a positive note. Because we had earthquakes. Did we talk about that?
No, because we haven't been on since the earthquakes
so just
hit.
Briefly, and you know this if you have seen the news at all or read the news, that Southern California, you know, it was 2 earthquakes. One was Friday and 6.4, and Saturday was 7.1.
And we didn't feel shit.
I felt both of them,
but not.
But they weren't like
the number doesn't equal what we felt.
But everybody started doing that thing of like, oh man, we're gonna have the big one soon. Like the big one is coming. Like we're all gonna be fucked.
I was in synagogue when the first one hit.
That's
Shan Shabbat.
What does Shan Shabbat mean?
On Shabbat.
Oh, you should have just
Friday
said
night. I did.
Friday night.
You just
okay.
heard.
Okay.
Yeah, and so all the Jews are praying, and the earthquake hits, and they're all smiling because
Why
they're
are they
like,
smiling?
"Oh, God was saying hello."
Oh, so you didn't panic about it?
No, but
all I did, I was in bed with my wife on Friday morning when it happened, and it's so weird when I've experienced a couple out here, a few, and it's always weird because I always think it's something else at first.
You thought she was getting excited. I had to do it.
No, I thought it was my
joke. I'm sorry, it was too.
I actually thought it was my dog under the bed. Like sometimes she like builds a nest under the bed. Like they scrape their paws on the floor, and I thought, wow, Charlotte's really going to town on the nesting thing. And then I realized, whoa, the bed is really shaking now. You know. And so I put a sock on the door. No. And so that was that one. And then Saturday, which supposedly was a bigger one, I was walking the dog. And there was I felt a rolling sidewalk. But people were going crazy about, you know, this is it. It's going to happen. And then what I love is the earthquake preparedness kits. Like everybody is running to fucking put their earthquake kits together. And my
share your
view, my view on earthquake kits.
You have an earthquake kit though.
No,
of your own. Yeah, you do. You tweeted about it.
Oh, what was it again? Oh, I have a pair of styrofoam pants.
Bundt cake.
My earthquake kit. Styrofoam pants. I have vegan bundt cake.
The Crystalia DVD.
DVD. What else did I have?
A bundt cake?
Oh, no, mine was a Faces of Death DVD.
Oh, okay. Same thing.
Right.
Really.
Right. But anyway, here's my thing. Batteries and water are not going to help you in a huge earthquake in Southern California where you can barely survive. I guess water and batteries you should have. What do you have? I have a pair of flip-flops. That's it for an earthquake.
Those are the first earthquakes I ever felt since I've lived here.
How long have you been here?
17 years. and I never felt the other earthquakes, or I was out of town on the road when they hit.
Okay.
So these were the first that I.
And you weren't scared?
For
What happened?
a quick second, one of the earthquakes, I was like, I grabbed the bed. I was in bed and I grabbed and I went, oh,
Yeah.
this could be bad. And then it passed. It was
Right.
gone.
Right.
But the second one, I was in synagogue with all the happy Jews who were happy because God was, giving them a wink. But no, I wasn't scared. Not really. Hey, I've lived through hurricanes, man. I'd much rather be in these earthquakes than hurricanes.
Well, hurricanes are, if you're in you've
That
been in nasty
hurricane was
ones,
coming
huh?
right at me, man. Yeah.
Tornadoes sound.
I've never been in
fucked
that.
up.
Have you?
And by the way, get ready for more of this stuff. I mean, earthquakes don't have. I don't think. Of course, I'm not a scientist, even though I did play one on a web series. But all these things are going to happen more and more. Earthquakes. There's actually one hitting Louisiana soon.
The hurricane.
New Orleans just got flooded. Not from. I don't know. It's even though the city of New Orleans not badly flooded, but there's flash flood warnings. The earthquake is supposedly going to hit the coast of New Orleans or Texas, but these hurricanes are going to come more and more.
Well, the
and
tornadoes have been coming more and more. I mean, the Midwest has been getting devastated by these tornadoes.
And the hurricanes are going to be bad, and the drought and all that. So please donate to us.
Yeah.
Before it's too late. We have a donate button. I'll hit you that later. But this person, my friend/fan, there might be a big earthquake, but on a positive note, catastrophes can bring solidarity, and that's true, right?
I don't know, man. In Hollywood,
Catastrophes can bring
yeah,
solidarity.
but I don't know about in this town.
Yeah, there's people are people, and I don't think dying is the worst thing that can happen. You will be lingering in absolute bliss. Finally. I guess getting hurt would suck, but then there would be people taking care of you, and that is nice too, getting pampered. Losing your home would suck, but then again, you would finally be homeless and would not have to worry about that anymore. But Eddie, when the big earthquake comes, you would probably be fine and everything will stay the same. Hey, that almost sounds boring. Hey, have you heard about the sun's magnetic field? Apparently that is what brings civilizations down. Solar winds that impact the earth. Hope you are well and have a nice day. But yeah, thank you, Mirza. But Mirza's talking about, your fears are never as bad as you think.
Well, that's why the hurricane's worse, because it's coming. The earthquake just hits, and it hits and it's over. But the hurricane, you have weeks you have weeks of terror, wondering, fixing your house, or wondering what's going to happen, or what she's saying is the terror of the mind. It's the mind.
Oh, folks, I just got a Rugrats audition.
Oh God, I gotta go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Grandpa Lou is the role. Oh my God, they're actually sending me out for a role where I think he's 70 years old.
I didn't even know they still made the Rugrats.
Yeah, I guess so, huh? Grandpa Lou. I don't know, do I need to go? I don't know. Where is it? Oh, good. It's in Burbank. God. Episodic TV. Let's see. Is he a guest star? Is he recurring?
Those are the important questions.
By the way, the reason why I'm telling you this is because I think it's good for you guys to get a taste of show business, here on the podcast. Steve does not get many auditions, if any, but I just got a Rugrats audition. And it's so sad that that's what my agency can get me, Rugrats, do the kids, what's the age group for that, Emma?
I don't know the demographic exactly, but it's pretty young kids. It's like, I watched it as a child.
You did watch it. Was it good?
I remember liking it. We watched it a lot. We had a lot of their VHSs and they were bright orange. I remember that. But I watched it pretty young. I think it's pretty young kids because the characters in it are like toddlers at the oldest, aside from the adults.
Yeah.
But like the the main characters are all like toddlers and babies.
Right. Unbelievable.
You got a Rugrats audition?
Yeah. Here are the sides. Now, I'm not supposed to read this fucking on air, you know.
That could affect your audition if you...
Breathe in. God. I can never get into these things. Oh, this is actually I actually have a lot of dialogue, you know.
Not to brag.
But, you know, I'm so angry. I'm so angry at, you know, I should be going out for great Netflix shit. You know what I mean? Thank you, Michael Gibbons, for subscribing to us on YouTube. All right, Steve, you're going to read the next ad, and then we're going to go to a phone call. Here it is. It's for Redenbacher's Dark.
Oh boy!
And Matt Rasamoto
Yeah.
has written these real ads.
Our fantastic producer,
Matt.
Orville Redenbacher's Dark Popcorn is a sultry blend of late-night spices, horny goat weed, blood thinners, and crunched-up Cialis, perfect for sensual movie viewing with that special loved one or solo time. Included with each bag of Redenbacher's Dark is one of the many instructional home videos produced by and starring Orville Redenbacher himself during a late collaboration with Larry Flint and matronly Gina Lollobrigida. You will hunger with desire for the salty, buttered goodness of being bad as Redenbacher guides you through his own sexual congress. Watch as the father of microwave popcorn narrates his naked, rickety scaffolding of bony flesh, mechanically collapsing and reconstructing itself upon Lollobrigida's rum-soaked tenement. Redenbacher's Dark will take you to the uninhibited wild side of popcorn that you thought was a myth. There, it will tie you to a swing chair of your own mind's construction and penetrate your mouth with the handsome flavor of Orville. Much like the geriatric popcorn magnate details in a scene he dubbed Buttered Gold, where Redenbacher orally mines for unpopped kernels, hidden deep inside Italy's beloved Gina Lollobrigida. Let the flavor of popcorn splash around your throat with Orville Redenbacher's Dark Popcorn, available at Target. Thank you, Orville Dark and Matt Rasamoto, for...
What'd you think about that product?
I'm going out and getting it.
Yeah?
Yeah, that'll be more action than I've had in who knows when.
Are you not having action?
Well, I
come on,
am,
you
but,
are,
not the kind I want.
All right. We have a couple of ads, and here's the first one. Here we go. Oh, we didn't test it. Let's see. Is it playing?
Oh.
No.
Mike, love you guys. Love the podcast. Always learning new things. I got a question today that's probably more for Steve than Eddie. It's kind of like a single guy dating thing.
Oh,
So Eddie, I'd love your opinion. So, after using Tinder and Bumble and, the website to meet farm girls and cat lovers and old ladies, I even rented this gorilla costume one time. I fucked a girl who was into furries, but I finally got a girl that I like. Really, really sweet girl. Very, very kind. But it's like a cultural family thing. She's got to take care of her grandfather, so this fucking guy goes with us everywhere. And, she usually bring her iPad with something that he likes to watch, and these dried apricots, but then the dried apricots make him fart, so you got to deal with that in the car 2 hours after he's done with the apricots. We go to the movie theater. I buy him like $60 worth of popcorn and other shit, so he eats that. Then when he's done, I look over, he lights up a fucking cigar in the movie theater. So I got him to put that out. And then, it's quiet for a few minutes. And then at the end of the movie, this old lady dies who kind of, I guess, reminded him of his deceased wife. He starts bawling uncontrollably, and we had to leave. And then we went to my house, my mom's house, actually, a couple weekends ago for Shabbat. While we're lighting the candles, he eats all the gefilte fish, like 2 pounds worth, after which he goes and completely destroys my mother's bathroom, like only he can. We're all in the kitchen kind of cleaning up after dishes and stuff. I look over, and he's showing my aunt his cock in the fucking kitchen. So I don't know what to do with this guy. I mean, he's a super sweet girl, but I don't think I could take one more day with this old cock blocker in the picture. So please, guys, give me some words of wisdom as to what I could do with this guy. Thanks.
That's Mike from
Mike.
Addison, Illinois.
Man, I'm going to tell you exactly what
Thank
you
you
need
for
to
that
do.
call.
Yes, Mike, thank you. You really need to try Orville Redenbacher's Dark. You didn't think that was...
That's fucking funny, by
Yeah.
the way. That was a funny call.
It
You
sounds
think it's
like
real?
the guys... Yeah, I think it's real.
I think it is too.
And-
It's just kind of just funny the way Mike was ranting. Yeah, the reason I think it's real too is because Mike sounded like
No,
he
you
was
couldn't make
fucking.
that
Yeah,
shit
that's
up,
true.
dude.
But how hilarious is that? And I get it, culturally, by the way, yeah, taking care of the elderly, I hope that I
I
can.
picture Abe Vigoda when he's describing the guy
But it's so funny that he's taking out a cigar.
who was taking us cock in front of the ant. That was the coup,
Showing
the final, like it didn't get, like that was the final closer of the, you know what I mean?
And it's this woman's grandfather that comes with her.
Yeah.
They're a package deal.
I would say have a conversation with her and say, do we have to have him all the time, or can we get someone to watch him?
Or, now here's something, now this is a little extreme, but Mike, have you ever seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, where Nicholson smothers the chief with the pillow because the chief was lobotomized? And it sounds like this.
No, Nicholson was a bottom.
Oh, I'm sorry. The chief smothered
smothers
Nicholson.
Nicholson.
Right. The chief smothered Nicholson in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. If you haven't seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest,
There's a lot of good life lessons in there.
oh, it's an amazing movie. It's
been
heavy.
The greatest movie ever made.
Anyway, yeah, it's so good.
Yeah.
Why is it never on? By the way, I and we'll get back to Mike, but why is it never on the top 100 movies list? I see these lists, top 100s. I never see Cuckoo's Nest on that fucking list. It's always like, Audrey Hepburn and Cary Grant in One Strange Night.
Some real pretentious assholes make up
critics?
these lists. The
But-
curators.
So, Mike, maybe you could smother the fella.
Oh, man.
Smother this guy. Make it look like an accident, a robbery gone awry. Always make it look like a robbery. No, but anyway, yeah, that's fucking a pain in the ass.
No, but really, what would you do? I would talk to her and say, can we maybe regulate how many times? Is there some way we can leave him, or he can be watched by somebody? Maybe somebody who would want to help. Maybe watch him, for a couple hours while you guys go out, and spend some time together. Mm-hmm. But that's a test, man. Because she's a good person. She's taking care of her grandfather.
Right. Yeah. It's just kind of a funny situation. It's like almost very Italian, where in the old country, in Sicily, and you saw this in The Godfather, when you're courting a woman,
You're with the whole
family would follow behind,
Right.
like at a respectful distance, I guess. But nevertheless, you'd look over your shoulder and there's everybody.
Right.
And so Mike is actually dealing with this in 2019 in Illinois.
He's a Jew. He was talking about Shabbos. So
Right.
he's a Jew. I wonder what ethnicity his girlfriend is. Maybe they're Italian.
Yeah, but I mean, look, it's a good thing to take care of the elderly. I'm getting up there, and I hope that I can be taken to a movie,
And weep when you see
Oh my God,
the
that's
woman who
just
reminds
so
you.
funny. It's so funny.
He farts with the apricots.
Let's listen to it. But thank you, Mike. That was a really great call. So what's the upshot? What is the advice we have for
Dude,
Mike?
I don't
You're a
really-
single dating guy.
I don't fucking know. I wish
What
I
would
could.
you do if you really just put
I'd
what you
stick
do
with her. I'd stick with her if I loved her. If I was really into her, I'd stick with her.
Mm.
And I'd find some way to draw a boundary with that guy. You got to draw. You got to either keep the guy away from you or have her, explain to the old man, like you can't act like, you can't act like Alan Arkin.
Maybe next time you
in,
sprinkle the gefilte fish with a little arsenic. Who the fuck
Oh,
knows?
you could dose him.
Dose 'em?
You could dose him with some Xanax.
Yeah.
Put him to sleep.
All right, let's see. We got another call here, but thank you, Mike. That was a good call. Let's see. Here we go. Oh, this is the gentleman.
Oh my God, who's that at the door? Look, this is Lucas,
Who did the
and
email?
I apologize for drunk dialing you a couple times, but I'm doing it one last time just for. I thought, me for one, and probably well, I don't know, you probably have a cult following and everyone already knows. But for those of us who just, saw you on Joe Rogan a while back or have been seeing you with Abby Martin and Jimmy Dore and stuff, all that cool stuff, please, Eddie, summarize your career, if you would, in short, and give me a picture of what you've been involved with over your career, because I get a picture that there's some career back there that I may know about, that I've seen you involved with, that I'm not aware of. But anyway, I appreciate it, and thanks a lot, man, for the good stuff on the podcast every week. It's a very different angle on presenting things in general. You guys kind of suck, but it's really nice to experience somehow. If you know what I mean. You probably know what I mean if you've listened to a single one of your podcasts after doing it, or if you just put it on all of us and expect us to suffer it without going through the experience yourself. Anyway, never mind. I hope you're doing good, and you guys, thanks for the stuff. I'll see you later. Bye.
Thank you, Lucas. Now that was funny. It was really funny because it was so complimentary.
Yeah.
And then he just thank you for the podcast. You guys suck.
In a nice way.
But it's good. And I know what he means. I do know what he means.
Yeah.
And actually there was an article that my friend sent me about people like listening to podcasts because it's not canned, polished shit. It's just kind of raw and real and conversational, and it's just like people are like eavesdropping.
Desperate for human contact.
Yeah,
basically.
things like that. I mean, it feels real, whereas, very polished shit,
feels stilted.
it's presentational as opposed to, ours would be excrementable. No, whatever it is. But yeah, that's really good. And my career, Lucas, my biggest thing, I don't know if you ever caught it, but my biggest thing was being a recurring character on the Conan O'Brien talk show, believe it or not, where I was planted in the audience. And I did it over a period of 10 or 15 years, periodically, sporadically, until Conan stopped using me. A couple of years ago. But where I was a heckler in the audience. And then, I've done a lot. You could IMDb me, and I've been in a bunch of shit here and there.
He asked about the beginnings of your career we might not know about, and I want to share something.
Yeah.
Because I ran into a comic at the gym, whose name I won't mention, and he said, what do you, same fucking conversation you have with every comic. What are you doing? I go, well, I've been writing for this guy, Eddie Pepitone. Oh, yeah, I know Eddie from back in New York.
Oh, really?
And I said, really, could you tell me a little bit about how Eddie's career began? Because when I try to get any information, it's like Robert Duvall trying to get information about Roy Hobbs in The Natural. We don't really know how it began or where. Can you give me some insight? He goes, he was always a legend. Even in New York, we looked up to him, but he never gave a shit about the industry, even back then. He would kind of just come in and do his thing and come out, but he was great, even back, and I'm imagining, this guy's not that old, so I'm imagining he must have been a kid, because he's like my age, maybe a little slightly older than me, and so that's what he said. He said you were
that's
great.
Cool. And it's true. I regret it now a little bit, not giving a shit about the industry, because I need money.
Right, but that's what got you funny. Not
right,
giving
that
a
did
shit.
make me funny,
Right.
Here's our last call today.
Hey Eddie, it's that Persian kid from 2 weeks ago with the repossessed car and the sad breakdown. Thank you. That was really helpful. That mustard seed comment and the thing that told me about the
mustard seed comment.
The guy, I wrote him down in my notes. The psychotherapy guy. I was looking into that kind of stuff anyway, with how I see society and culture and how it just affects my mood, in terms of what I want to do, what I want to be. a lot of the past in society, you know, laid out, like lawyers, doctors, like owning a restaurant, working for a restaurant. It's got a lot of just like a dog-eat-dog elements that I'm not really interested in. But thank you, man, and thank you a lot. I sold like my TV, my PS3, little sound system I got a while back. Got my car back, and now I'm just like hustling, like just heavy now. Every day, more like 13, 14 hours on Uber and Postmates and DoorDash. Just trying to stack up as many deliveries. Just like get some cushioning on the car. I just got really down, man. Like You're in Ruins album was so helpful. Like I think like 4 or 5 years back. I listened to it in my car after work. It was just I was just working at a creepy Italian restaurant. No offense to you. You're not like those guys. It's a weird culture, man. Those old school Italians, the way they just like go after like preteen girls and shit, and just mistreat their workers. Like say one thing about illegals, then you know like their entire like kitchen staff working like double shifts are illegal. So it's like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? Anyway. I digress. Just that was a good time, but I just you go back in those waves when everything's just hitting you on the shoulder, and what Yvette said about just where you're at in life and what that could mean in terms of your depression. That is true for me, just with the bills, with trying to pay back just, the private college loans, the Perkins and the public. And also being a green card Persian kid and just worrying the past, 2 months if, this country's going to fucking, just go after my people, make them suffer for something that happened off there doing in 1950. Creating a domino effect of more extremist leaders, not allowing actual progressive thought or a society to form in the Middle East. And you have people like Sam Harris just very much so dilute the problem to the point where you're like, is this motherfucker a spook? I don't know. But thank you. I'm feeling a lot better now. I just wanted to give you that update, so I just didn't leave the gloom. My name is Amir, by the way. And it's so funny, just like a guy at your stage in comedy could just speak like me, and I've noticed a lot of other younger people like you too, and it's so beautiful.
Oh, that's so nice, Amir. Awesome. Amir, thank you. Yeah, it's so fucking disappointing. What has happened, our political system. The silver lining is that people are fucking waking up to what the fuck is really going on, even though there's still so many people out there who, just believe all the bullshit propaganda they see on TV. Noam Chomsky, who I fucking love.
We had this conversation in the car about him, how he said that
let me see if
the TV and the media don't represent 70% of the population's interests.
Well, he says that this is the quote I was going to pull from Chomsky, is that the fucking propaganda machine in the United States would make the Soviet Union in its heyday of communism jealous. But people don't think we have a propaganda machine here,
Well, that's part of the
propaganda.
Yeah.
But Amir, and I'm glad you're doing better, man. Mustard seed of faith. I mean, god damn, it's hard sometimes, when times are tough. And my friend yesterday, I was talking to my buddy, he was saying that when you're having money issues, it's like someone is strangling you around the throat slowly. And I said, I gotta go. I didn't want to hear that. All right, let's see. So thank you, Amir. This is a great call. Glad you're doing better, man. And let's see. Our last ad today, and we've had a great show. Emma, what minute are we at?
1 hour, 8 minutes.
Fucking an hour,
I'm
8.
telling you, man.
So this is from Kaiser High Summer Musicals. Kaiser High Summer Musicals. And this is written by Matt Rasamoto, our producer, and they're real ads. And please pay us. It's that time of year for another musical masterpiece as presented by Burbank's own Kaiser Permanente Charter High School. Oh, man. Kaiser Permanente
What
really runs a good high school. Last year, critics raved the musical adaptation of Behind the Green Door. And keeping with the tradition of classical cinema, Kaiser High will be bringing to light a musical rendition of Lars von Trier's comedy classic Antichrist. Lars von Trier. Lars von Trier is a fucking riot. If you could see Lars... He started out as a vaudevillian. Catch the crowd-pleasingly zany antics of a psychiatrist getting his wife to face her fears after the death of their only child, only to be tortured by her in return. Critics are hailing Antichrist as the wackiest runaway hit of the summer. Glendale Gabber says... They should tell you to wear a rain smock if you sit in the first row. There was so much gore sprayed on me, I felt like I was at a GWAR concert. Do you know who that is?
Guar.
Guar concert. Is Guar a punk rock band or something? Who gives a shit? Burbank Crooner writes, it was 2 hours of gratuitously violent sex involving singing children. I kept waiting for the police to raid the theater until I saw that it was based off something Lars von Trier did and was like, okay, this is obviously art. If you're in Burbank in July and you've already seen the IKEA, you have nothing better to do. You have nothing better to do than see Antichrist the Musical. Support the performing arts at Kaiser Permanente Charter High School. Okay, well, folks, the extravaganza that is Pep Talks podcast is as laborious as it is costly. You can't see the hordes of important people behind the scenes keeping this ship together with wood, glue, and spittle, but rest assured, they are there. You know about Emma and Aaron, who record and film this undulating parade of satire and prose. But did you know that each week the intro music is performed by a new live band who is promptly murdered so we can hire the next live band? Or that we have screeners comb over each email, package, and call performing tenuous background checks on our fans? I don't know what the fuck that... How tenuous, you ask? Well, ZumbaTits69 at yahoo.com sends us an email saying, quote, the comedy bit at the end isn't that funny and is way too long, end of quote. Well, the good people at Pep Talks found an error on her 2014 taxes, fixed it, refiled, and she will be getting a 37-cent check from the IRS in 6 weeks. All in all, Pep Talks podcast employs over 400 skilled union laborers, so visit our site and slap that donate button like it kissed your sister. Also subscribing, writing a review, and clicking like wouldn't hurt either. Leave a message at 424-262-0904. You heard those good calls. 424-262-0904. Email us at fanmail@peptalkspodcast.com. Visit peptalkspodcast.com. Visit peptalkspodcast.com and hit the donate button. Our engineers today were with Emma Erdbrink. Emma, thank you for coming in about Xanax.
Thanks,
Anytime.
Emma.
And other stuff. And Aaron Brungardt and our producers, Matt Rasamoto. And thank you, everybody. We will talk to you next week. See ya.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. See ya.